May profits be upon you. Welcome to another weekly Forex forecast. I hope you were able to maximize some of the good analysis I gave last week, especially on the video I put out. I think Thursday evening and Wednesday evening. I was talking about one that the U.S. dollar index was going to hit that bearish weekly fair value gap, which it did. I'm about to talk about it, and then we would see some bearishness from that, and also the Nasdaq when I gave you on Thursday. I told you exactly where it was going to go, and I said we're going to see some upside from here, there, and I'm hoping that you were able to take advantage of that. Hit me up in the comment section and let me know. All right, for the week ahead, we have what are we doing? All right, we have the FOMC on Wednesday. That's the big one. All right. Up until then, Monday through Tuesday, you might see some ranging in the markets, some smaller ranges, and it can get a little wonky before FOMC because it's a high impact kind of news item, and the Federal Reserve is actually expected to hold current interest rate, but I say but because the U.S. Economy, the GDP contracted. That was a news item during the week, and uh, that hasn't happened in a couple of years. That could potentially uh, uh, have the Fed consider a surprise interest rate cut to give the economy some some support so that it won't start sliding into a recession type a recession type situation. But that's just some potential, just something to be careful of. But what Thursday and Friday, those are going to be good days to trade. I'm telling you. The pound has got a interest rate decision to make on Thursday, and I mean, there's going to be some good stuff out there. Okay, let's go. Now, let's talk about the Dixie. All right. On the weekly, what we can see is just like I've been saying the last few videos, and I'm not going to go as much into that kind of detail, but you can see the push higher up till 2022. We consolidated, we sweep the lows, boom, and then we sweep the highs, boom. All right, and then we come back into the range, and then we don't sweep the high. All right, so we leave relative equal highs. Then we don't sweep the low, so we leave relative equal lows. And then what the market does, sweeps the highs, boom, and then we come back and sweep the lows. All right, clean sweep. This is the low that remains, this low right here. Do I think we're going to take it? Yes, I do. I believe this is a weak low because it didn't make a new high. Therefore, it becomes liquidity. And I think we're going to come back and sweep that low. But before we do, what happens after we sweep highs and lows? A retracement. We swept these lows and we are starting that retracement. And I don't think we're going to 50% of this impulsive move down. I don't think we're going to correct that much. I think we might correct up to 38%. But you see that we left a weekly fair value gap here, a weekly imbalance, and then we have this very long. You see how April closed, very bearish, lots of momentum, a very big institutional candle. All right, and I think we're going to see a nice retracement here uh, into the weekly fair value gap. And that's exactly what happened. I said this 2 weeks ago. I said it last week, and I'm saying it this week. Here is the bearish fair value. Come on, man. Here's the bearish fair value gap here. All right. We also have an imbalance I'll show you on the daily. But what I said was once this candle closed here from from April 21st, I said we're going to head up into this bearish fair value gap here and use it, potentially use it for price to move lower. That's what normally happens. Okay, so we're going to go to the daily, and you can see. overlapping the weekly bearish fair value gap that we have tapped into. Overlapping it is a daily fair value gap right here from this low to that high. And also we have a volume imbalance, which typically the market likes to pull back into and fill these volume imbalances, these price gaps, and use it as a speed bump to react from. But because it's already at the bottom of a bearish fair value gap on the daily, which is overlapping the weekly fair value gap, I think that we have confluences for resistance. So I'm looking for price to go up into this and then shoot down. So not momentary, short term bullishness for maybe a couple of days, and then we should see price push back down. If we see price pushing down on the US dollar, that means in the majors, the euro, the pound, the New Zealand dollar, the Aussie dollar, they should be pushing up. You understand? And with the CAD, um, uh, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But we want to see the exact opposite in that dynamic, right? So we have a confluence there. Now you can see price once it pushed up into this fair value gap area uh, of the weekly, notated by the dotted lines. It moved bearishly and then a quick bounce, a quick wick of respect. All right, why? Because there was a bullish fair value gap here that price was showing respect to. That would let me believe that price will continue up into the confluence of support here for a down move from there, longer term down move, short term bullish, longer term down a bearish move. All right, so I'm going to mark this area. All right, because this is the area I want to watch. All right, when price comes into that contact, are we going to turn over here? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to find out. All right, if we go to the euro, we can go to the weekly and we can see the exact opposite of what we just saw. All right, we can see that there is a weekly fair value gap here that price has tapped into, and I'm expecting price to use it as support for higher prices. All right, if we go to the daily, we can see price once price tapped into the weekly fair value gap, it had that bullish reaction. I expected, but it ran into the weekly fair value gap, this bearish imbalance here, and price forced it back down, showing a wick of respect. I'm looking for some follow through into the weekly fair value gap once again to take these lows and take this area, this line of liquidity there that you can clearly see on the 4 hour, this low. All right, and once it does that, we're inside of this fair value gap again, and we took another low for liquidity. I'm looking for price to find support right here at this rally-based rally. All right at this demand zone. All right, inside of this fair value gap for higher prices. That's it. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope it does. All right. If there's any question, just give me a holler in the comment section. All right. If we go to the pound, you can see this lovely V-shaped recovery, and I'm thinking that we're going to see more to it. Some people say, "Oh, it's double top. Price is going to start shooting down." Now, I don't think that. I do not. Why? Because we swept liquidity here. We swept liquidity. We broke market structure to the upside here, and it just keeps going up. Also, what strengthens my argument, sorry, is we have a fair value gap, a weekly fair value gap here. All right, intersected by this high. I always like to see that, and you see that price once it took this high, once it took the high, swept that high. You can see the respect and the pullback, because that's what you expect after a high is taken. external range liquidity goes to internal range liquidity. And we have the internal range liquidity right here in the form of a bullish weekly fair value gap. If we go to the daily, we can see that we have this low here and this low here for a draw on liquidity. We see that we're on the way there already. We can see that price has left behind a weekly imbalance, a bearish fair value gap. All right, that price didn't quite reach to. All right, it could reach there with the next candle and then come back down. We'll see how that goes because it did not close below that low. That makes me think we're going to range here, or price is going to tap that weekly bearish fair value gap and then come down in here. So this bears watching for sure, but we are in the weekly fair value gap with this candle here, and I'm looking for price to tap that weekly fair value gap. It has not tapped it yet. It has not tapped it yet, as opposed to what the euro did. All right. So I'm looking for it to do so. All right. That's that weekly, that near-term bearishness that I'm looking for in the majors as the US dollar, let's go back, as the US dollar reaches up with strength in order to make the internal range liquidity grab and then shoot for the lower the sell side liquidity. All right, so that's what I'm looking for in the pound. I'm looking for it to push down and then up. All right, if we look for the New Zealand dollar, if we go to the weekly, you can see that we are in a weekly fair value gap. Why does it? Okay, all right. We're in a weekly fair value gap. All right, and it has tapped. You see the wick of respect. We're closed above the high of the previous weekly candle. So I'm definitely looking for price to show signs that it wants to go higher from that weekly fair value gap. All right, if we go down to the daily, if we just push out a little bit, what we can see is after we have this market structure shift up here, price pushes down. We have the nice, beautiful recovery. We take out these highs here, and these old highs for liquidity. We're looking at price pull back into a weekly fair value gap. I'm looking for price to continue higher to take out these highs and maybe take this low resistance liquidity up to this neckline over here. So I'm looking for more bullishness. That's what I'm looking for. All right, we have some relative equal highs here and here. So this has good incentive to get higher. If we go to the Aussie dollar, this one is a little different. Why? Because if we go to the weekly, what we see is that it did not, like I had hoped, it did not come back and tap us in at the weekly fair value gap. It almost made it, but it had too much strength. Why is it different? Because it's the only one that had elections, and they just elected a new prime minister, and I believe he's a prime minister. Am I correct? I'm sorry, but he's the new leader of the country. I believe he's a prime minister. I can't remember his name. Forgive me, but they are definitely trying to. They're feeling optimistic, and they you can see it reflected in their currency. It surged this Friday, when on Friday elections. It surged higher, taking out the high of the range that it's been in for quite a while. Am I ready to take longs from here? No. I would like to see price sweep these lows, tap into that weekly fair value gap, and then go higher. If it goes higher from here, that's fine. I'll wait until it pushes higher and then comes back into this range, come towards this range for to find support and then move higher from there. But I'm not taking buys from here. I'd rather take buys from down here after it sweeps the sell side liquidity. All right, so there are better markets to look at: the New Zealand dollar, the pound, and the euro. They're better markets in my opinion. Now, if we go to the CAD, sorry about this, I am bearish on the CAD. All right, and there's a good reason why. Take a look. If we just pan out here, you can see it's been bearish. All right, we had this long period of sideways action, then we broke those lows. Market structure shift to the downside. Yes, we had a nice recovery. We hit the low of the 2020, which is the COVID low. Took that out, and we are recovering from it. But this is a recovery into what? A bearish area of fair value. This is supply here, folks, and this is the area of fair value. And price is offering. This market is offering fair value here. I believe we're probably going to see a downside from there. Now, what I want you to look at on the daily is I'm gonna tell you right now. This might be a speed bump. We have what? Weekly fair value gap and a daily fair value gap here. All right, they're overlapping. All right, but here's the area of supply, and you see prices having problems getting higher. I would be waiting on price to tap into this. All right, all right. I want to see a. It'd be better if I did it this way. If I want to see price create a down candle, we sweep the highs. Fine, we swept the highs, but I want to see this liquidity taken out first. All right, a pull down into this fair value gap, and then I want to see price pulled up. Oh wow, what did I just do? All right, I want to see price pull back up and then down. All right, I want to see a bearish fair value gap form. All right, as it pulls down, finds a reaction point in this confluence of support, and give me an area to take a high probability trade to the downside. That is my setup, folks. I'm hoping that you understand that. All right, let it sweep, but I don't want to take buys into supply. All right, that's a large supply. I don't want to take buys into that. All right, let it sweep this high. That's fine, and then give me that that impulsive move where I can see a fair value gap form, and then I'll take it down from there. All right. Hope you understand that. Let's see if you have any questions. Just leave a question in the comment section. You see, on the Swiss, I am bullish on the Swiss. Why? Dang, darn it, man. Because, all right, because of this V-shaped recovery here. That's why. Boom, boom. I love it. And the fact that we are price is testing this weekly fair value gap. Oh boy, I'm messing up. This weekly fair value gap here, here. All right. I'm looking at price tap into it. And you see how last week it was an indecisive candle here. But we did manage to sweep that low. I'm looking for price to go higher from here. If we go to the daily, you can see that we are sitting on an area of demand with this order block here. All right. And this is inside the weekly fair value gap right now. I'm looking for price to either just sweep a little bit lower into so it can sweep this sell side liquidity and then go higher. That's what I'm looking for. All right. From the demand. That's it. All right. And if we go to the pound, the Japanese yen, I don't think the Japanese yen is very weak. I mean, very strong. You can see we've had two bearish weeks right behind each other, even going through a small weekly fair value gap. We are in a volume imbalance that has since been revisited. So I'm looking for price to continue bearishly, and it may move sideways from here as well. But this is an area again where there is some fair value here, not some fair value, but it's an area of fair value. All right, you see how we're reacting here. So price could very well start to stabilize here and find some bullishness. So I'm gonna watch this market. I'm gonna watch it well, But this isn't a market I'm interested in taking a buys from until I see a proper break of market structure to the upside.